It's fascinating how humans can build entire worlds out of belief. From the moment we learned to fear the sky, we began naming our fears, worshiping them, and creating rituals to keep them calm. What started as early attempts to make sense of nature somehow evolved into complex systems where people still perform acts that defy reason, logic, and sometimes even compassion, all in the name of what they call sacred. Take the idea of washing away sin with water, for instance. In some places, people still believe dipping into a river cleans the soul, as if morality can be rinsed off like dust. It's poetic, yes, but it's also the human tendency to give physics a spiritual shortcut. Rivers carry bacteria, not redemption. Yet the idea survives because it feels comforting. Then there are rituals built on pain. People piercing their skin, walking on hot coals, or hanging from hooks, convinced that suffering pleases some invisible being. It's as if agony became a form of currency to trade for divine approval. You can almost hear evolution's sigh in disappointment as intelligence bows before inherited superstition. Some traditions treat animal sacrifice as a holy offering, as if the universe needs a goat's blood to feel honored. It's strange how humans still assume that a cosmic intelligence capable of creating galaxies somehow demands a barbecue to stay merciful. The contradiction is breathtaking. The same hand that builds hospitals also slits throats on altars, calling it devotion. And then there's astrology. The belief that your destiny depends on the position of burning gas balls millions of kilometers away. People actually plan marriages, careers, even medical decisions based on the geometry of the night sky. It's one of the most elegant examples of how our ancestors' curiosity turned into a permanent misunderstanding. In many places, menstruation is still seen as impure. A biological cycle that literally sustains life is treated as untouchable. Women are isolated, barred from entering temples or kitchens, while men who wrote the rules centuries ago are called guardians of purity. It's not just outdated, it's the absurdity of fear wearing the mask of holiness. Some cultures still worship snakes, stones, and trees, not as symbols of nature, but as divine beings themselves. What began as admiration for life's mystery turned into superstition carved in stone. The tree became a god, and the curiosity that planted the idea got buried beneath ritual. There are rituals where people throw food, milk, or money into rivers and shrines, hoping invisible entities will accept their donation. Meanwhile, that same food could feed starving children a few streets away. The ritual survives because it's easier to feed a god than confront the guilt of ignoring your own species. In some communities, people still believe illness is caused by curses or spirits. Instead of medicine, they burn herbs, chant words, or spin in circles, hoping the sickness will leave. It's a tragic comedy. Thousands of years of medical progress ignored because superstition feels safer than science. One ritual demands silence for the dead, but cruelty for the living, worshipping ancestors who can no longer hear you while ignoring the suffering of those who can. That's the irony of belief systems. They make empathy selective, offering compassion to ghosts while turning cold toward strangers. And then there's fasting to please gods who apparently get offended by breakfast. Abstaining from food for spiritual growth can teach discipline, sure, but when it's done out of fear rather than reflection, it becomes just another performance in the theater of obedience. In some regions, people still bathe idols in milk, gallons of it poured over stone or metal, while children nearby can't afford a glass of it to drink. It's faith turned upside down, where worship outweighs welfare and ritual replaces reason. Even funeral rituals can border on absurd, from shaving heads to breaking pots to making sure the dead's feet point the right way. Each act is wrapped in mystical reasoning. We fear death so much that we invent choreography to pretend we understand it. Beliefs about rebirth often suggest you'll return as an animal or another person, depending on how well you behaved. It sounds like moral recycling, an attempt to make the chaos of life feel organized, but it also becomes an excuse for inequality. If someone is suffering, people shrug and say, it's their karma. That's not wisdom. That's avoidance wearing a spiritual robe. Some rituals demand silence. Others demand shouting, spinning, dancing, or rolling on the ground, all as proof of faith. It's remarkable how humans still equate the intensity of emotion with truth, as if noise can make an illusion more real. There are places where statues are fed every day, offered meals that no one eats. Imagine the devotion it takes to prepare food for stone. It's loyalty without logic, and yet it continues because challenging it feels like rebellion against one's own ancestors. And then the obsession with purity, not moral purity, but physical. Bathing before prayer, avoiding certain foods, walking a specific direction. It's as if the universe cares more about your hygiene than your honesty. Cleanliness is good, but when it's tied to divine threat, it stops being about health and starts being about fear. One of the most bizarre rituals is the idea that chanting a specific phrase repeatedly brings prosperity. People spend hours repeating words, thinking the universe operates like a vending machine that dispenses miracles for the right code. Repetition doesn't summon reality, it only deepens the illusion of control. There's even the ritual of fortune threads and charms, little strings, beads, or metals people wear to block bad luck. It's funny how humans evolved to split atoms, but still believe that cloth on a wrist can outsmart fate. And perhaps the strangest of all, people convincing themselves that their God loves them more than others. Every religion does it. Every believer feels chosen. It's the ultimate cosmic ego trip, each group claiming to have the private number of the universe's creator, while everyone else is lost. If anything deserves to be called foolish, it's that. What all these rituals reveal isn't stupidity, it's the deep hunger for meaning. Humans can't stand not knowing. So we fill the silence with stories, rules, and holy habits, hoping the noise will drown out uncertainty. The problem isn't belief itself, it's when belief demands blindness. The world doesn't need fewer rituals. It needs rituals rooted in awareness, not fear. Imagine if devotion meant curiosity, if holiness meant kindness, and if worship meant understanding. Then maybe humanity would finally move from repeating sacred routines to living sacred truths, ones that actually make the world a little less strange.